I want to talk about a happy day in my life, and not just any happy day, but a day that made it so all other days are just a little bit more special because I still have somebody that I love dearly on this earth. And it all started at 4:30 in the morning on March 2nd. And normally, if somebody woke me up at 4:30, I wouldn't be held liable if I punched them, but whatever. Today it was a little bit different because I woke up with the biggest grin on my face. And that is because today was the day that I've awaited for, that doctors have been preparing for months, that my cousin has been looking forward to and run through so many tests, and the day that my dad has waited 10 long years for. Today was the day that I was going to drive my dad to go and finally get his kidney transplant. And so I wake up, and then I walk over to my dad's room, and then I knock, and then he's already awake. Like, I'm all thinking, I'm gonna go, Dad, like, time to wake up now. But of course, he couldn't sleep because who really could when you're about to be on the operating table for however many hours. So we get up, and then it's 5 a.m., and we're on the road to St. Joseph's. And when we get there, I mean, we've been there dozens of times because for the past 10 years, my dad has been in and out of the hospital. So that's the life that I grew to know. And the hospital became a comfort zone versus a place of fear. But this time was just so different because I was so happy to be there. And even just walking in, the smell of the hospital became like a second home, and it was so comforting just to be there. So we go to the front desk, we check in, and then they get my dad's room set up. So we're in there, and then I'm just taking funny pictures of him, and then just seeing him in his like little gown, even though I've seen him in it so many times before. But we're just sitting there and laughing, and I'm just holding his hand and telling him everything's gonna be okay. And then I start crying, just because I'm a girl. But he's telling me everything's gonna be okay. So eventually my cousin shows up, and we're actually just 13 days apart, but she's the heaven-sent angel who just had her son the day before the surgery and decided to give my dad the kidney. Now, some of you may be wondering, why wouldn't I just do it? It's actually because I suffer from the same disease, which is called polycystic kidney disease. I'm totally fine right now, so don't worry. But she arrives, and we check in, we all start laughing, and then finally the doctor comes in too. And every single time my dad sees my cousin really, or the doctor, he just starts crying like a little baby because he can't help it, because he's so overjoyed that this is finally happening. My dad had spent several years on something called dialysis, which filters the blood, and it keeps you tired. And you know, normally people that are on it are on disability, but he still worked day in and day out to keep a roof over our heads. So it just, entire day was extremely emotional because it was just finally here. All the hard work that everyone had put in was finally coming to a bittersweet ending. So all the talks, you know, are going throughout the room, and then the time comes where the nurses come and say, okay, we're gonna take you guys to the OR now. First my cousin goes, and then I kiss her on her forehead, you know, and she's completely good to go. She's just joking the whole way. She doesn't even think anything of it. The fact that she's about to give life to someone, and she's just, cool, I'll see you on the other side. And then when my dad goes, that's when I start bawling even more, and then I kiss his forehead. I'm like, it's gonna be okay, Daddy. He's like, stop crying already. And I was like, all right, I'll try. But I go back out to the waiting room, and I join my aunt. And she's out there, she's fine, she's not thinking anything of it. And even though it was only about 4 hours, it seemed like an eternity, because I know that that hospital and that doctor is world renowned, and they just have amazing stats. You know, so I shouldn't be worried, but it's different when those numbers turn into 2 members of your family. But eventually everything, you know, ended up being okay. The doctor comes out of the room and comes to greet me and my aunt and says that everything was a success. So that day was just so special to me because I really, really got to appreciate my family, and just, I mean, I always have appreciated my family, but I just found just a completely different outlook on life, and I really, really do value every day that I have with my family and my friends, because I know how precious yet fragile life really can be. So that was the best day of my life.